That was a painful one. It's Wayne back. This is the Roma Real Betis Europa League Group C breakdown post match. Hope everyone was having a decent day up until the 89th minute here. And sorry if I didn't do a pre match. I actually had my tooth pulled, had a big infection, and it was eating away my bone in my face. So I was in a little bit of pain last night through this preview. But we see that Roma approaches this match. I'm going to pull up, I've got these, the starting lineup here. Well, actually, Salik was in the starting lineup, and he pulled out at about 5 minutes in. Bad news for him is he was seen going out of the Stadio Olimpico limping, so nothing more has been released on Silic just yet. I'm sure we'll get a report later on tonight, but hoping all is good for him. We see Zalewski step on for him there. So we start off with Rui Patricio, who, of course, I didn't think we were going to see Svilar at all. Mancini, Smalling, Ibanez, Zalewski, Cristante, Matic, Zalewski, Dybala, Zaniolo, Abraham. So a little bit different from what we saw against Inter Milan with the reintroduction of Abraham, and Zaniolo also getting another start here, which has been really, really good to see. I think for him, although today I don't think that he had a great game. Immediately we've got Michael jumping in, and not a big fan of Rui. He says he's garbage. Every single game he lets in at least one goal from distance, and Zaniolo is overrated. So I think a lot of Roma fans are really frustrated right now. And if we look around the rest of Group C, actually, I'm going to give some scores here from whatever else has been going on. I've got popped up here. So the other two teams, HJK and Ludogorets, they tied today. So that's 1-1. So Roma goes to third, or stays third, in the group with 3 points. And then I think Ludogorets, I'm sorry, has 4, of course, because they beat Roma. Lazio draws 0-0 with Sturm Graz. Some other notable matches were Arsenal 3-0 over Bodo Glimt. Olympiacos loses to Karabag. Feyenoord and Midtjylland, they tied 2-2. And PSV comes up a big winner against FC Zurich, 5-1 there away. Vertessen with 2, Gakpo with 2, and Xavi Simons with a goal there. So I'm going to keep posting the comments as they come in. Great players, clown of a coach, Marco feels. So going in on Mourinho there. And that, I have to say that as far as the coaching goes, I don't like the way that Roma needs to be prodded. It seems like there has to be some initiation from the opposition for them to get going. And I know that fitness has played a part so much in this season, more than any other season, because of the condensed run of matches. But Roma cannot be a team that reacts, especially against a team like Real Betis or Ludogorets, whoever it is. They have to be the one that goes out there and initiates the play. I don't care what coach it is, that mentality needs to be the same. Naveen's very frustrated with Zaniolo. He says he has amazing strength, but no vision. He doesn't use his head when he plays the ball. So we see today, again, Zaniolo running into issues in his decision-making in the final thirds. And we're getting some, backlash between the comments here. Who's the one with the trophy cabinet? Michael says back to Marco. And Maureen Thierry thinks that this formation just doesn't work. The 3-4-1-2, the 3-5-2 last season was better. Okay, so you're suggesting that there should be some type of switch off in the midfield here. So it's really not radically different, aside from the fact that now we have Dybala, who's dropping a little bit further deeper to get the ball. The 3-5-2, when it collapses, is still a 5. You still see that midfield. I think what's really hurt Roma, on top of the other obvious things, is losing Mkhitaryan, but not so much the Mkhitaryan as a player himself, but what he provided with those neat, clever little through balls or breaking it down between the thirds, I think has been a big drop-off so far. So comments keep coming in. People are turning on Mourinho. I was at the game tonight. Ishmael, what? Let me know, how is it going there, and what's the atmosphere at the Stadio Olimpico tonight? He says I was disappointed, and I'm really not positive going forward. Marco says, I won't allow bad comments about the players. They give their best, but look the way we play. Players don't know where to be on the pitch. They're not playing football. They're getting rid of the ball. Getting rid of the ball. So Marco, I think, brings up a good point here in that defensive play is good. It is great. It's all about the release and how you initiate the attack because ultimately you cannot just defend the entire match. But we see too often than not. And I don't know if it's rotation, I don't know if it's chemistry or part a little bit of everything, as well as not having like a true trequartista out there, that guy between the lines. Could have something to do with it because Pellegrini has been shifting and he's been out on the wing or he's been deeper in midfield, as we saw a little bit of this season. Um, and it's that link up. It works very well when Dybala drops back to get the ball and Zaniolo or Tammy run off of him. But today, another frustrating game from Tammy as well, I have to say, and I'm sure he feels the same way. It's not throwing players under the bus. It's rather just stating the obvious. I don't think any player. I thought Dybala had a decent game. Of course, he gets the goal, but I thought otherwise. But I think Zaniolo will be frustrated. Abraham, I think Matic, who played, I thought Matic ran his socks off today. He played the entire game again. On top of Cristante, who's probably going to be frustrated with his play. Zalewski, who put it on a platter and we couldn't convert. He comes in late, of course, not expecting to get the start. I should say 5 minutes in. Ishmael says Inter game and it was incredible. But it seems like the style of play people are not happy with. But I feel like Mourinho is going to be questioned very soon. I get a contrary feeling about Mourinho being questioned from the amount of articles I read regarding Mourinho's contract renewal. And I have seen many good things. I've seen emotional changes in this team. I've seen the attitude there. This team can, like we saw against Inter Milan, not blow leads. They can hang in there. Uh, but then it just comes down to the play, I think. And if this team was scoring goals and creating more opportunities, a little bit more clinical, there'd be so much less pressure on Mourinho. But right now, I think his task is how do we get these players scoring simply. Um, Morin comes in here. He says, while I think the criticism is 100% deserved, we have to remember that Real Betis is a great team and they showed their quality. I agree. I thought they played a decent game as well. They had a large amount of support, even though that support left a lot of beer bottles and garbage around the city. But they did play a good game. They lose Fekir, which was a big loss. He had the best chance of the game before he went out. I think that was around the 35th minute mark. And Marco continues here. He says, we play like we don't want to win, and we never try to control the game. Tammy plays more like a defensive forward, and he's not supported by other players. And, of course, no midfield again. All right there. I want to go into the statistics real quick. We've got... It's not working. No, it's working. There we go. Okay. We see 13 shots for Roma against Real's 12 passes. Roma is just under 400, and Real with the lion's share of possession with much more of many more passes just numerically. Possession 62% almost for Real Betis, and Roma a lot of corners. Statistically, Roma has been an excellent team off of free kicks, but today they couldn't convert off of the 6. Just a shame there. Clearances. Let me get this banner out of here. Or the comment, I should say, rather. Clearances. I lost that one. I'm sorry. Blocks 4. Tackles 14 versus Real's 21. So they did pretty good defensively. You can't take that away from them. Roma 16 crosses, and we couldn't capitalize. And I think that's a real head scratcher after today's match. Ishmael says the contact I'm reading is the contract is going to be extended till 2026, but the fans were quite upset about tonight, and I think that's reasonable right now. If we're going to do player ratings, just off the board here, I think the defense was decent. 5s and 6s across the board. Cristante, I think, like I said, would be disappointed, especially just that zonal marking. I think has let in quite a few goals already this season. And I'm curious, in a non-facetious way, what is Mourinho waiting for to give Kamara the start? Because every time this guy comes in, and I don't know if it's just just one of those things, where a player comes on as a sub and they're full of energy. but them playing a full game, is that a little bit different? Maybe Mourinho is waiting for him to be a bit more tactically astute to get familiar with the tactics because he came in late. But I have to imagine that it's time for this kid to get a chance. Like, I've been impressed in the 10-minute stints that I've seen from him so far. Ishmael says, do you think Mourinho stays to the end of the season? Definitely. I think Mourinho is a long-term for the club. And however frustrated we might be, the ownership seems to have a very patient approach in the terms of letting Mourinho go through the growing pains with this team and continue to get players that he feels will help him out there. So, what's up, Godzilla? Nice to see you, man. So those are the stats there. I'm going to go into the Mourinho quotes after this match. I'm going to pull up his press report, his post-presser here. And one of the things he starts off by saying is, I thought Betis had more technical quality, he says, especially in the first half. Yet we had more chances. And that is the contradiction of the game that hurt us because we had the opportunities to score. It's just one that bites you, doesn't it? Because we had the opportunities. And I'm going to keep thinking about that one, I think, until the night is over. And this was speaking to Sky Sport Italia. He said, it's easy to recognize that they are a team with an elevated quality on the ball that caused us problems in the first half. But after that, the chances were all ours. Zaniolo hit the woodwork. Bravo made a save. I think Bravo is like 39 years old. We wasted two incredible chances, especially with Cristante, he said. So I don't know how Zaniolo missed that one. Just rocks the frame of the post. You got to wonder sometimes. He says, I thought a draw would have been the logical result. And Betis were very happy to score a goal at the end. And you can see Rodri, who plays that lofted ball, and it's just hanging there. And Spinazzola is exhausted at that point. We'll get to that comment about Spinazzola there. I'm going to switch my banner here and take off this overlay. He says, we were talking, so then he's asked about Spinazzola and how he thought that the cross was just going to go past him and Spinazzola did not react. And he says, we are talking about a tired team, one that is trying to win. Matic was able to press and Spinazzola could not. So they found the space at the back. I think it was an error that came from fatigue. And I agree with him. He says it hurts because although it was not a great performance, the team did not deserve to lose. And I agree with that as well. Inter, did they deserve to win? Maybe. Atalanta, did they deserve to lose? No. And did Roma deserve to lose today? No. It's a post apart, really. You're talking a matter of inches between wins and losses. And today it's another loss for Roma. And I'm hoping it's one that doesn't send them down into the Conference League if they finish third. I don't want the team to waste time with that. Because it's already been won. And I don't know, unless you give the young players a good chance, a good run out there. When asked to comment on the Zaniolo red card for his kick at an opponent off the ball, Mourinho said, I did not see. The assistant was there and saw. It's a shame he didn't see the yellow card for Petzela, who should have been sent off. I didn't see, but Zaniolo certainly did something. And he's right. Zaniolo should have been Petzela should have been sent off. He should have gotten the yellow, and then he should have gotten the extra yellow for being what I thought was the last man, but the referee did not see it. I think actually the left back was the last man there. So Roma have now lost 2 of their 3 Europa League games. Of course, are now third in the group. Real Betis have 9, and they're going to be going to HJK. I'm sorry, HJK will be visiting them, so they'll have a home game to lock up first place there. Mourinho continues. He says, I think at this moment, finishing top is not the objective. Betis have 9. They'll play Helsinki at home. So now the objective is to finish second, even with the risk of facing a team that drops from the Champions League in the playoffs. I still prefer to continue in the competition rather than finish in third and go into the Conference League. So that is the objective. He says, he ends there. So that's the objective. Stay, get second, go on and play a team that's going to be a strong one in the Europa League. So we look at other teams like Manchester United, Arsenal, even Feyenoord. So let's see what, I didn't prep this one, but let's see what the other groups look like too. I'm going to type in standings real quick, and here we go. what that might look like if this was to end today and Manchester United got a 3-2 win over Omnia. I think they're from Cyprus. So in first place in Group A right now is Arsenal. In B is Fenerbahce. Out of Turkey, you don't want to play them. C, of course, is Real Betis. Group D is Union Saint Gilloise. I don't know that team. I got to be honest with you. I'm wondering if they're from Belgium, perhaps. A mix of languages there. Real Sociedad in Group E. They're top. Actually, United is second. They lost one of those. I think actually the first one they may have lost against Real Sociedad. So Real Sociedad's in first. United's in second with 6 points. Sociedad with 9. Group F is Feyenoord. That would be something to see them again. Group G, Freiburg. And Group H, Ferencvaros. And Monaco is actually in the second spot there. Ferencvaros. This is, they're coming out of, oh my gosh, I don't know this team. Another one. Let's see where they're from. Anybody know? Throw that in the comments if you know where this team is from. And I don't mean to be sarcastic. Other comments are coming in here. Marco says, let's be fair. Mourinho should try to change tactics and mentality or leave the club. The way we play is unwatchable and unbearable. And continues, Mourinho is probably going to turn this loss on his players. How very typical of him. And he has the nerve to say Betis is better technical team. Betis moved off the ball and controlled the game. They took risks and pressed us. We were sitting back and waiting to see what was going to happen. Marco and I have spoken about, I've chimed him on his comments about reaction. And I do want to see this team not be reactionary, but one that controls. And it's just going to take more time. I think you have to trust the Mourinho process. He's still a manager who has my backing. And of course, along with that, he has the management and the ownership. So the mentality is something which takes a long time to switch. You need sometimes different players. You need the players that you do have to be trained mentally. And I do think, just based off Mourinho's record and what the changes that I've seen in this team, that he does know what it takes to get the job done. And this was never going to be a 1 year, 15-month project at this point, but one that's going to take a little bit longer. And Roma already has won the Conference League. So sometimes you have to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. Mourinho, today, if he won, he would have been the second most winning coach in European football. So those records do speak volumes, and sometimes patience is a virtue. Our last banner here. No, that was it, right? Yeah, he says something about, he doesn't want to go down into the Conference League. He wants to stay up, and I feel that is the right call. There's no point to go back down unless you do give the young guys a shot. Ibanez good again. I think Pellegrini was missed today, particularly in midfield against a technical team like Betis was. But then again, they lost their best player too with Fekir. So the news outlets haven't been too kind. I saw one, not title, but label called Abraham Amaro. Amaro meaning bitter, like a bitter loss. That was coming from Forza Roma. So I'm sure that some of the players are just going to be so frustrated. Ibanez says, "Get out of my way, pop-ups." Ibanez says, "We were unfortunate. Spinazzola did not mess up on the goal." And he says there, I'm going to try to translate this one quickly. This just came in from Ibanez, if I can get some of these in Italian. Let's go back here. Ibanez spoke to Sky, and he said, he was asked, could Cristante have done better? And he said, we were unfortunate. We had occasions to get a goal, but now there's nothing to say. We must get back on our feet immediately. Tomorrow we have Lecce. I'm sorry, not domani, Domenica. Sunday we have Lecce. So we have to renew ourselves immediately. Cosa vi è mancato? What was difficult? What were you missing? He says it was difficult to say. We were unlucky. Again, he says this. The occasions were right at the door. We were bravo, but just unfortunate. Perché alcuni giocatori sono nervosi. Why are some players nervous? He says they're looking to do everything that they can. They have the cattiveria, the toughness, like the how do you translate cattiveria? Cattivo. It's like mean, like the meanness to get a goal. They're trying everything they can to score. I have nothing to say. We must think to Lecce and to go on stronger. Ha sbagliato Spinazzola su gol. Did Spinazzola mess up on the goal? He was great, Spinazzola. He was. He says again, we were unfortunate, and that he was looking for the contact there. And then Ibanez spoke to Dazin, so I'm guessing he was the player that was interviewed a lot here. Come perdere dopo aver gestito per grandi parti? How is it to lose after like playing and feeling good? We were unfortunate and them fortunate. It happens sometimes in soccer or in football. Sorry, my American is showing. We took the game in well in the second half, and it was a shame not to have made a goal. And he says again, now we must think to Lecce. And he spoke to Roma TV as well. Sapevamo, we knew that they were strong, and we were just unfortunate again. They managed to score the 2-1. Now we must try to retake on Sunday or get back on our feet. And then looking at Lecce, we must think to them. So he's constantly putting this more towards Lecce, trying to forget this one quickly. So I'm translating that one straight from Italian into English. So it's like sometimes it takes a lot of mental energy, which is why I'm like, here we go. Marco says, okay, let's be patient, but I'm not happy with the way my team plays. And I agree. 100%, Marco. Definitely with you there. Sina, what's up, Sina? Says, do you think we have a chance beating them in Spain? Definitely, especially if Betis wraps it up. Well, we face Betis, I think, just on the turnaround next Thursday, if I'm not incorrect. So, do they have a chance in Spain? Yeah, I think Roma is a superior team, and they were just a little bit unlucky today. So I'm expecting probably at least 3,000 Romanisti to be making that trip as well. And I'm just going to confirm here that is in fact on Thursday, next Thursday, which would be what, the 6th, the 12th, the 13th of October. But I'm pretty sure I want to keep looking at the comments. Marco replies to Naveen. I agree, no more fluidity like last season. That's because we don't have the midfield from last season. Actually, we don't have midfield at all. And we are feeling those effects from Wijnaldum going down, from Pellegrini having to play more attacking roles, from a new player in Matic. And like I said before, Mkhitaryan was so important, but we seem to have lost a little bit of a step there. And Dex says Mourinho is stubborn. And speaking about stubborn, if you think that or not, I am looking forward to seeing Madi Camara. That's a player I'm looking very much forward to. And yes, that's October 13th. That's going to be 12:45 New York time, 6:45 p.m. Italian time on October 13th. And Roma, of course, has Lecce this Sunday, 2:45 p.m. New York, 8:45 Italian time. And then Sampdoria quickly following that one. Will Pellegrini be back by then, by next Thursday? I'm not sure what is going on with Lorenzo Pellegrini right now, why he was pulled up, but I will look that one up for you. Let's see, Football Italia. He had something here. Pellegrini out. But the team, as confusing as Pellegrini has been, they do seem to have really lost a little something without him. So he's struggling with the same hip flexor issue that forced him out of the Nations League matches for Italy last week. Test showed no lesions, which is a good sign, but you don't want to risk it by just throwing him out, which is why he didn't play today. And I think that was a good choice. We need Abraham to regain his confidence and start getting goals again, people. That's something that's desperate right now. I don't have too much more to say. This was, I can't say it again, a disappointing result. I'm sure that you feel that way. And clearances, I don't know, Real Betis at 13, Roma 8. Not too many more major takeaways from this one. From looking on Twitter, you could see that Roma thinks is complaining about the Cristante Matic midfield as well. And people are just overall frustrated. Keep writing in comments. If it goes for a couple minutes without comments, I'll wrap this up. But as long as I keep getting them in, I'll keep posting these. Do you think that the Dutch guy makes such a difference? We would play better if Wijnaldum played. I definitely think so. Wijnaldum is a class act. He's a pro. He's a total box-to-box player. He offers so much tactically going forward. He recovers the ball. I think that he knows how to play the zone. To me, he's a perfect Mourinho player. Like, I couldn't think of too many better center mids, especially as this team has had such an issue in scoring goals. I believe that Wijnaldum is sorely missed. I think that Karsdorp was missed today. And Salik, of course, goes out to injury. So those are three players who could have had a major hand. But we also need Belotti to get a goal in there as well. So it doesn't mean we're going to play a 3-4-1-2. We will continue to see the 3-4-1-2. I think perhaps if some new players come in January, then Mourinho has some time to mess around with them, that maybe you could see the four-man back line. I'm dying to see a 4-2-3-1 after this amount of time, or a 4-3-3. I really want to see a more formation that I'm used to, like on my eyes as well. And Deck there giving a shout out to Kamara. What are you going to do tonight? I don't know, guys. But we've got Lecce. There's no preview out on them as well. I'm sure I'll be doing a preview for them on Saturday. Tomorrow's too quick of a turnaround. Probably Saturday morning for me. But I know I've got some stuff to do with my family after that. And that's it, people. I've been trying to stay healthy. Like I mentioned, I had my tooth pulled at the beginning of this. The chat's a lot more crowded now. But I had a major tooth infection, which is why I didn't do the preview for this match. And I had to get it pulled on site. You never want to hear your dentist gasp when they walk in the room and they look at your x-rays. That is no good. You don't want to see that. And Marco says 4-2-3-1. Guys, thank you for joining in. You know what to do. Hit that like button. I'm sure most of you are already here subscribed. Thanks for jumping in and providing the comments. Sorry for the loss, but as always, Forza Roma. Ciao, guys.